Welcome to this lecture. In the last lecture, we were discussing about the SEI CMM quality model. We had said that this was set up by the Software Engineering Institute at the Carnegie Mellon University on a request from the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense wanted to assess the capability of its vendors, the likely performance of the vendors before awarding the contract. But then it had significant benefits for the organizations themselves. It helped them to improve the quality of their work, meet the schedules and also develop in a cost effective manner. And therefore, it is widely accepted worldwide. It helps the organizations to improve its quality in stages. We are just discussing this model here, where the level 1 is called as the initial model. All organizations by default are at initial, even if they do not have any documented process, they do ad hoc, build and fix. For all these, they are at initial level. Every organization by default is at the initial or level 1. And to go to the level 2, they must have a disciplined process. A disciplined process is that they must be using some process, they must be having project plans made, monitoring against the plan. There must be a proper project manager who makes plans, monitors against these plans, configuration management of the documents and so on, and then it goes to the repeatable level. This is level 2. The implication of the repeatable, as we were mentioning, is that an organization can repeat its success on one project on similar projects in the future. That is, if it did a job that was awarded to it well, then it can repeat its success on that project on similar projects. The third level is called as defined level. In the defined level, the process must be documented. In the repeatable, it is a standard consistent process. In the repeatable level, it is a disciplined process, and then in the defined level, the process must be documented, so that the process is used consistently by all members. In the initial level, the process, there is no disciplined process, everybody is free to use their own process. Even build and fix, there are no process, only build and fix, that is also would qualify for initial. In the repeatable, there must be a disciplined process, that is, the process must be followed by different developers, but there may be variation in the process, their understanding of process may vary. But in level 3, there is a standard consistent process, only then they get to level 3. And to get a standard consistent process, the process has to be documented, it has to be defined what exactly is the process. Here in the disciplined process and the repeatable, the project management is there, and also the process is disciplined, everybody have the process in their mind, but then there can be variation across the different developers, but in the level 3 there is a standard consistent process, and this can be achieved only when the process is documented. In the level 4, it is necessary to have a predictable process, that is the process performance needs to be measured, and then whether the goals that are there are met, this is identified and corrective actions are taken if the goals are not met. For example, let us say one of the process metric or process measurement is how effective is the review, where most of the bugs identified in the review process or they got identified during testing, and that measurement is tracked, and if there are very few bugs which are identified during the review, and most of the bugs got identified in the testing, then it was identified that why the review was not effective, and therefore, it was enforced more thoroughly. Maybe the review was not done properly, and that is why most of the bugs they escaped to the testing. From the managed go to the optimizing, the organization must have a continuously improving process. Now, let us see the same example, that if there are bugs identified, the number of bugs identified in the review versus the number of bugs identified in the testing. If it was identified that review was not very effective, in a managed stage it would be investigated that why the review was not effective. Maybe it was not followed rigorously, maybe the people who reviewed, they just were lax, could not review properly and so on. Whereas, in the optimizing level, it was also identified that whether the review process itself is not proper, does the review process needs improvement, and the process may be changed here. So, in the managed stage, the metrics are collected, the process metrics are collected to investigate and find out why the targets were not met, what was the shortcoming on the part of the team members who were using the process. Whereas, in the optimizing level, it is also identified that does the process itself needs improvement, and then the improvements are made to the process. So, that is the overall idea here in the capability maturity model, that the initial all organizations qualify. This is also called as the chaotic organization, where everybody, all developers are free to develop their own way, chaotic activity. That is the hallmark of the initial level. In the repeatable, processes are followed, but then there can be variation across the process, different team members. The project management is followed, and then the next level 3 is the defined process, where the process is defined and documented. The managed level, the process performance metrics are collected, and these are used to identify why the targets are not met, why certain things were not working, certain activities were not satisfactory. But the process is not changed based on the metrics. Whereas, in the optimizing, the process continuously improves, the documented process, every time necessary, it keeps on improving. The level 1 is the initial level. Here every organization by default qualifies to be level 1. There are no process requirement, no project plans required. So, every organization, just developers got together developing, and that will qualify the level 1 or the initial. The hallmark of a level 1 organization, if a organization is qualified at level 1, then the projects are done ad hoc, the developers are free to do whatever ad hoc and chaotic activities. This is the hallmark of a level 1 organization. But the thing is that many software organizations, they are at level 1. The developers there are free to do whatever way they want to develop software. Success comes from smart people and hardworking people doing the right things. If a level 1 organization has a success in a project, it is largely attributed to some of the team members who had worked overtime, who were doing smartly, getting some things right, and so on. But then this kind of organization can get into big problem if during the project some of those good people leave. Then the project, there will be a total failure. And this kind of organization, during the project tenure, there are frequent crises, and the good people, they calm down in a firefighting mode. Let us say some module is not working, the good people, the smart people, those are there in the team, they take up those activities, help out and bring the project to success. Here there are no specific process followed. Different engineers have their own understanding of their process, they may not follow any process, and the success of the project depends on the individual effort and heroics. The schedules and budgets are missed, progress is not measured, there are no plans made, there are no progress measurement, and that is one of the major reason why the schedules are missed, because to start with and not made any plan that what work will be complete by what date and so on. Also the product configuration is not controlled. It is likely that buggy software where the bug was fixed, but still the buggy version was forwarded to a customer. The activities that the developers take are non-standard, inconsistent, and there are large number of defects in this kind of software developed by a level 1 organization. The level 2 is called as a repeatable level, because here the basic process framework is in place and some of the basic requirements are in place, and therefore, an organization at level 2, if it has a success in a project, it can repeat its success on a similar project. If it developed a payroll software successfully for some organization, then another payroll software it can with success develop for some other organization. One of the major requirement of the level 2 is project management practices, that is making the basic plans and then monitoring against the plan, tracking the cost and schedule. Size and cost estimation techniques are done by the project manager, function point analysis, COCOMO, etc. These are used. But again here the developers, though they have their process, they do not use a build and fix, they have their process, but these are not formally defined. There may be variation of the process that are used by different developers, and also these are not documented. Also the process that is used for different projects may be different, and here the success on a project can be repeated on a similar project. And if a organization produces a family of products, then a level 2 organization is it is possible for a level 2 organization to repeat its success on one product across the family of products. In level 3, the process is defined and documented, and therefore, there is a consistent process that is followed by all developers. There is a common organization wide understanding of what are the activities to be done at what time, what are the roles, what are the responsibilities. But then even though the process is defined, but then there are no process measurements are done, and roughly ISO 9001 is at level 3, but ISO 9001 the 2000 version that targets for level 5, but the original ISO 9000 1987 is roughly at the level 3 of the SEI CMM model. In the level 4, here there are quantitative quality goals for the product are set. For example, that how many bugs per 100 lines or 1000 lines should be there in the final product. After all the testing is complete, all the development and testing is complete, what is the quality goal for the number of bugs per 1000 line, or what percentage of bugs to be identified during the inspection process, and what percentage to be identified by the testing process. Here this kind of process and product qualities are measured, and if these fall short, then these are used to improve the project performance. That is, some things were not done properly, and it was used to give this feedback to the team that you did not do a proper review or a proper testing was not done. This has to be done more rigorously. So, the project performance is enhanced and not the process itself. No change to the process is made, but then the process that exists are used more rigorously to improve the performance. In level 4, the process and product quality are collected, and the software process and product are quantitatively controlled, and variation of the process performance is narrowed to fall into acceptable quantitative bounds. That if let us say during inspection 50% of the bugs must get detected and should not go to the testing stage, then more or less all projects the same thing happens. That is, all projects do the inspection rigorously. Here quantitative quality goals are set, and therefore, the quality is quantifiable and predictable. In the level 5, the measurements are used not only to enforce that the process is followed rigorously, but also it is identified whether the process itself needs improvement, because it may so happen that the review is done rigorously, but then the number of defects getting detected during the review is not satisfactory. Then the review process may need to be improved, and therefore, the process keeps on improving continuously based on the measurements. If there are some known problems with the process, then the process is fine tuned, and the lessons learned into some specific project, learned from specific projects, these are incorporated in the process, so that these good things that some project used and got very positive results, these can be used organization wide, and therefore, the process itself is changed. Not only that, there are a lot of innovations and improved practices are being reported across different organizations in the journals, magazines, and so on. These tools, methods, and processes are identified. There is a special team here in a level 5 organization whose work is to find out if there are improved methods, tools, and processes which are reported, then these are incorporated into the process itself, and these are transferred throughout the organization. Now, let us discuss about another important aspect of the SEI CMM, which is the key process areas. As you might have already noted that the ISO 9000 is a go no go scenario, either a organization qualifies for the ISO 9001 or it does not. But here in the SEI CMM, an organizations get assessed at a certain level, and then it tries to go to the next level, and there are set of things that have been identified that a organization at one level to go to the next level, and that is called as the key process areas, some part of the process that needs to improve. The KPA is an important aspect of the CMM model. An organization assessed at certain level, it can go to the next level if it satisfies some key process areas. These are the process areas that an organization at some level must focus to reach the next level, or let us say level 3 KPA, it identifies the process areas which a level 2 organization must focus to reach to the third level. Now, let us see what are the KPAs for the different levels. For level 1, there are no KPAs, because every organization is by default in level 1, and KPAs are those process areas which an organization must focus to come to that level. The level 2 KPAs are the process areas which a level 1 organization must focus to come to level 2. These are the KPAs: requirements management. The requirements document must be written and managed. The software project planning, there has to be a project manager, plans have to be made, estimates has to be made, based on that plans to be made, and based on the plan the project monitoring has to be done. The third requirement is configuration management. The configuration management allows a document to be controlled. Only the authorized persons can change it, and also it would be possible to identify the latest version of the document easily, and also it will be possible to go back to a previous version. And subcontract management. So, these are some of the process areas that a level 1 organization must focus to come to level 2. It must have proper requirements document, because requirements are the basis for planning and managing. There has to be a project manager who does project planning, project estimations, and monitoring and control based on the plan. Configuration management must be used. Without configuration management, an organization will not satisfy level 2. And also subcontract management. For awarding work to a vendor from the project, some part of the work may be given to a vendor, but then the work that is given to the vendor must be properly identified, reviewed, and the item that are completed by the vendor must be properly tested to comply with the requirements that was given to the contractor. We can pictorially describe what are the KPIs for level 2. One is the requirements management. The requirements must be obtained, and this must be put under configuration management, because requirements keep on changing. Software project planning, monitoring and control, this is another KPI. Software configuration management, this is also an important KPI, and subcontract management, this is another KPI. We are almost at the end of this lecture. We will look at the KPIs for the other levels of the SEI CMM in the next lecture, and we will move on from there. Thank you.